Hi everyone. We are here to bring you Empower Hour. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Darcy, and we started this YouTube channel to meet empowering women to empower ourselves and empower our audience, which is you guys.
We are both seniors at the University of Northern Iowa studying journalism, so we've decided to take our journalism to the next level and start a YouTube channel. So bear with us through this rather rough beginning process, but we are excited for all the content that we're going to bring you. So we plan on keeping it local and finding a whole whirlwind of inspiring women, there's actually a lot more out here than we thought that there would be. So we're going to go meet Kathy. We are in the town that Kathy lives in, so we're meeting her at the public library here. We're waiting for her to just finish up with a doctor's appointment for her son, and we're gonna get ready to interview her and find out about her little empire and everything she's created for herself. So, can you just start by telling us about you? Like, who is Kathy? So, what's like a day-to-day life kind of look like for you?
Well, typically I work from home full time, from my bed in my pajamas.
What?
But I have 3 kids, ages 5, 11, and 14. And then my husband's a stay-home dad, and we have 2 big dogs. So when I'm not traveling, I'm home all the time just writing. I write for an online platform called Fit Small Business. And then I also have my own travel blog. And I've been blogging since 2012. So it's write all day from bed, usually in my pajamas. I will never work in an office ever again. Super easy, but it sucked the life out of me. Like, I've got an MBA and I was climbing the corporate ladder, but then realized that corporate America is full of red tape, telling you, like, no, you can't do these things. No, you can't do what you want to do. No, you can't take more than 2 weeks vacation. I'm like, screw that. Like, to travel, I mean, you can explore the world. Why wouldn't you want to do that? You know what sealed the deal for me about leaving corporate was I had a conversation with my boss, and I was number 1 in productivity in on our team. And I was always giving, doing way above and beyond. But during our one-on-one, she said to me, it seems like you care more about your activities outside of work than you do in work. Which really upset me, because I'm like, I am doing way more than you asked. Like, and all of my PTO goes towards me attending personal development conferences, like trying to better myself as a person and as an employee. And you have the nerve to say that to me. And so she was really shocked when in a couple of weeks I turned in my 2-week notice. Actually, I think I gave her like 3 weeks, because it's gonna be very hard to replace me. So I'm like, I will never sell my soul like that ever again, only to be like expected to give everything to a corporation who will replace me if I die tomorrow, you know? People don't realize that if you have a flexible job where you can work from anywhere, you can travel as much as you want for cheap, sometimes even cheaper than if you were to like pay rent in a big city. So that's the lifestyle I like. And so as soon as my older 2 have graduated, I'm selling everything and we're traveling full time. Like, money's not that important to me. Like, I just need to pay my bills and travel, and I'm okay. But now that I have travel covered, it's like, okay, I can scale coaching back a lot. So we get to go with tourism boards to all these cool places that basically pay for our vacation 8 times a year, you know? And so instead of just one family vacation every year, we get a bunch. And it's a lifestyle I've created literally by design. There's no reason you can't go and travel and do what you want to do, but from your laptop. You are going to learn perseverance, like you're going to learn independence, you are going to learn how to navigate life while you're navigating a foreign country. I had held a retreat in Costa Rica, and then I went up to El Salvador for a little bit, and then detoured down to the Amazon rainforest. And where I stayed, it was in
Leticia, Colombia, which is right across the river from both Brazil and Peru. So I stayed in the heart of the Amazon there, actually on a commune. And so thankfully I had electricity. I just didn't have anything else, like no internet, no cell reception. So I really didn't have anything else to do with my time than write. I mean, I went to 21 countries in 18 months. And next month I'll have gone to my 26th or 27th country. But now I work with tourism boards all over the world. Next month I'm going to Kenya, where I was invited to document a scientific expedition. So it went from me like finding really, really cheap deals to I'm actually getting paid to do this. When I was in high school, I actually wanted to be a plastic surgeon. I wanted to eventually like work for UNICEF, and I wanted to help children in like foreign countries with like cleft palate and all these things. But then my freshman year of college, I'm 18 years old and I get pregnant. So I'm like, oh snap. So I had a baby at 18, which completely derailed everything that I had planned. She's the best thing that happened to me, but I really had to pivot. And so I took a break for a while, and then I went and got my associates, and then I got a bachelor's, and then I got an MBA. And then I got this crazy idea that I love the sound of Dr. Haan. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go get my PhD because I want people to call me Dr. Haan. And then I was actually in seminary when I had to get another master's in seminary to get a PhD in seminary. And so I was working on my final paper to get another master's degree. And I was at Starbucks, and I'm like, please show me a sign that like this is not my path, because I was like killing myself. You know, I've got 3 kids at home, and I've got a full-time job and all these crazy things in my life. I'm like, please just give me a sign that I can just close this laptop and go home and say goodbye to this stupid dream of getting a PhD just because I want people to call me Dr. Haan. And then overhead on the radio comes a song, Lean on Me, which I used to sing to my dad all the time. He died 5 years ago. And so I'm like, okay, that's the sign I need. I closed my laptop and I went home. There's a part of me who realizes like everything I went through and all the student loans I have was worth it, like for the experience, but I'm teaching my children that you don't have to go to college to make your dreams come true. Ever since I was 14, I was caring for my dad. And then the last 2 years of his life, he was on hospice in my home right over here. And so I really am gonna have to borrow this one from Shonda Rhimes. She wrote in her book, Year of Yes, that inevitably, if you see me shine, and I'm paraphrasing because I have a terrible memory, but if you see me shine in one area, inevitably others are suffering. And so I think balance is something that the man tries and tells us we need, but in all honesty, I don't think it exists. I found myself in a really deep depression. It didn't help that I was also in an abusive marriage. So when I wasn't crying, I was sleeping. And at the time I had 2 small children. Okay. And so it really kind of came to a head when I overdosed on 32 prescription sleeping pills in an attempt to take my life. Because I said, this isn't the life that I meant for. And when I overdosed, I really thought that I was overdosing because I wanted, to end my life. But as soon as that happened, I was like, no, I just wanted the pain to end. And so when I was in the hospital for 9 days, I decided, okay, my life is going to look radically different. I need to stop waiting for somebody to come save me, and I need to save myself. Like, I went on this crazy journey towards like finding who I am, and left my ex and like cut out TV and stopped gossiping, cut people out of my life, and it wasn't an overnight thing. It was a couple years at least. I started paying it forward, helping others, pouring into my community and, giving without any expectation of anything in return. And that has helped me tenfold, 100-fold,
Where is the line of like vulnerability? Like I feel like you have to be so, like that's gotta be so scary to just tell everybody these things.
It was, and there are parts of my story that is still really hard to say out loud, and so I found that sharing that story like in a semi-private platform, like maybe a small podcast where I'm interviewed, like that's actually how I really got my start. Was I started getting interviewed on people's podcasts and like bearing my soul, but I couldn't see a sea of people in front of me. I for a long time was a health and fitness coach. Got tired of answering the same questions every day. So I started documenting that journey so I can just be like, hey, go check out my blog.
Oh, okay.
So that's how the blog started. But then as I decided I really don't like health and fitness, I slowly transitioned, and it helped because as the blog gained traction, brands started sending me stuff to review for free. But then all of a sudden I had this desk full of gadgets and gizmos to review, and it probably cost the brand like $2 to manufacture, and it's taken me hours to write a single blog post review on this little gadget. And so I'm like, okay, this isn't working. I need to start charging for this. So then I started charging for blog posts. And then people were like, so snap, you can actually make money as a blogger? Yeah, so then I transitioned away from health and fitness coaching and moved into business coaching. And as I started to make really good money, I actually made more in one day than my previous 6 years as a health and fitness coach. But then I started to make an income, and then I learned that you can travel even when you're broke, even when you are trying to figure out like what you want to do with your life. Like there are ways to make it happen. And the motto of my blog is the secret to telling a great story is living one. And I learned a really long time ago that I serve no one by keeping my story to myself. And by becoming vulnerable and sharing that story, it's opened up so many doors. Like in a couple weeks, I will be in Vegas at a red carpet event where I actually am the honoree, where there's like celebrities in attendance and I'm getting interviewed on TV.
Oh my God.
And I had a Marvel and DC comic illustrator turned me and some of the other sheroes, female heroes, into like a comic poster that we get a sign at MegaCon in Orlando.
Oh my God,
so
that's
it's like
cool.
all these things only happened because I decided to share, and not like rose-colored glasses where my life is perfect. I just share my truth. I really love the direction that young people are going in. I'm 33, but I was fortunate enough to have a mom who was like a beta tester for some tech companies, and so like my bedtime stories as a kid involved the internet, which back in the day was really unusual. But as far as going forward, I really see young people of today going and creating their own businesses, creating life by design rather than life by default, because they realize, hey, it sucks to sit at a desk every day. Or maybe they have that thought now and like, oh, I'd love to be a marketing director. But when it all comes down to it, you're still answering to somebody else. So, think long and hard about what you want your future boss to look like. And maybe the answer is, I don't want a boss. And if so, figure out how you can make money online, create your own business. I mean, we all have access to the global marketplace. That is the internet. Like, this is like the greatest time in history. When I was in middle school, I had an online magazine that was sponsored by Steve Madden. And so like I've always kind of been like a collaborator and wanting to share my expertise with everybody else. You need to think about the things that you're good at. There's really 3 elements of building a business for yourself, and that's finding something you're great at. And usually you can find that by like people who ask you questions. What kind of questions are they asking you? Are they always asking you like nutrition advice? Well, maybe you've got something going there. That being said, just because you like yoga doesn't mean you have any business teaching it, right? I don't have any business teaching yoga. So it has to be something that you're good at, it has to be something you're passionate about, and this is the third element that's so important, it has to be monetizable. Because, hey, I may love to knit, but I may never make money as a knitter. I don't knit, but you know.
Right, no, I did.
So those three elements, passion, you're great at it, and it's monetizable. Once you can start building that business, I mean, you can travel as much as you want. People think it costs a lot of money to travel. It really doesn't. It genuinely doesn't. Like, I could travel cheaper outside of the country than flying domestically. People don't realize that if you have a flexible job where you can work from anywhere, you can travel as much as you want for cheap. So that's the lifestyle I like. And so as soon as my older two have graduated, I'm selling everything and we're traveling full time. It's hard to say that life is perfect and life is rosy, but I have a lot more tools now to help cope with that. Definitely not perfect, not a perfect mom, but I'm sure I'm a great one. You know, don't do it for anybody else or what you think you're supposed to do. That's my best advice.
And is it really just everything's just about your trips? Just like really like documenting what you did, or what's the basis of each one?
So it used to be that way, but now I'm starting to do more like education. So like how to find cheap flights, what gear to bring on your trip, how to pack. And so eventually I'm going to build it out. So it was a lifestyle blog, but now I'm transitioning to just travel. So I'm waiting to build up like my arsenal of travel posts in order to like create a great menu of options for people to pick from. Because I'm transitioning more towards like education, I'm also talking about like, for example, right now I'm working on an extensive like ultimate guide to Lake Tahoe. I've actually never been to Lake Tahoe, but I reach out to other experts and compile that information in one space for my audience, so that way they know, okay, here's what everybody says is the best place to go in Lake Tahoe, and here's some of the beaches you can go to, or some of the resorts you can go to, whatever.
Okay.
Really.
What are you most proud of out of everything that you've done?
That's a tough question. I think really just getting to share what I love and getting paid for it. Like, that's the dream, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not all puppies and sunshine and rainbows. Like, there are times where it can be frustrating or tough, or, you know, summer months are really good. Sometimes there's a lull during the winter, so you have to supplement with other things. But yeah, that's probably it. No matter your circumstances, I mean, we've all got baggage, right? We've all been through our traumas. Myself, unfortunately, have had more than my fair share. But it's a choice that you make. You can decide that you are going to do something with your life, or you can decide to just take the status quo, and that's okay. Like, if you just want to work corporate, you just want to do your job and go home, totally okay, nothing wrong with that. But if you're somebody like me who has much bigger things planned, like, reverse engineer it and figure out like what exactly you need to do to make that happen. Any goal you have in life, break it down into steps and do step 1, step 2, just take action. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis.
So Darcy and I totally forgot to film an outro. Welcome to our first YouTube video at Empower Hour. But yeah, guys, that's it. So come back. We will have a brand new video for you guys, continuing to meet new women in the Cedar Valley. I think we're going to be meeting with the veterinary clinic. The vet there is a woman, and she's really cool, so you'll learn more about her. So I will link her blog down below. Check us out on our website. We are empowerhour4change.com. My social media is Sarah Rittendale, on Facebook and Twitter, and I am s.e.rit on Instagram, and then Darcy's is Darcy Bertolino on all three of those. So give us a follow, check out our website. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the like button. It really helps us out a lot, knows what kind of content you guys are into, but we really hope that you were empowered this week, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you guys.